So, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to start off by saying that it is very nice to be interviewing you today.
Well, you're very sweet. I'm happy to be here.
So, I wanted to start off by talking about HypeSpace.
Yeah.
Now, I will be honest, I had not heard of this until this interview came about. So, can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Of course. It is brand new. So they just launched like a month ago. So do not feel bad that you haven't heard about it yet because it's
Good.
just for. So yeah, HypeSpace is a challenge-based app where you upload video submissions of challenges, and then you can clap on your favorite videos and win prizes. The nice thing about HypeSpace is that it is very, very positive and safe space. So every challenge has to be like approved by the board, by the creators. And the only interaction that you can have with videos is clapping on them. So it's positive reinforcement. There aren't comments or downvotes or anything like that. So the focus of this is to kind of get people more involved in kind of something active online in a safer, more positive, kind of setting. So that's why HypeSpace is a little different than your other social media platforms at the moment. And yeah, this last month we did like a bending challenge. So people could,
Nice.
do like some martial arts or, just kind of throw rocks around the backyard, whatever, whatever kind of came to them as inspiration for bending challenge. And that one just finished up, and we're actually doing a flash Halloween spooky spirit challenge. And it could be Avatar related if you wanted it to be, but it's really just kind of showing how you get in.
I'm sure people can find a way to make it Avatar related.
I'm sure they can too. So yeah, that's the live one at the moment. And then in November, we're going to do like a little favorite scene from the show and kind of reenact it with maybe a friend, or do like a monologue, a little bit of an acting challenge just to kind of bring the Avatar script to life a little bit. And and the nice thing is the kind of, there are winners. So there are prizes for each of these challenges. And the Halloween spirit challenge is $200, $100, and $50 for first, second, and third place, which is nice. So it gives a little bit of like an impetus to upload something. And in this
Some
last
candy money.
Yes, exactly. Once it all goes on sale after Halloween is over on Monday, go.
That's the prime time to get that candy.
Exactly. So yeah, that's kind of a fun aspect as well, because this last challenge I had a couple of signed Avatar things, which is always fun. So yeah, that's HypeSpace.
Very cool. So did this idea come specifically from you, or did somebody reach out to you to like partner with you on this? Like, how did this whole HypeSpace project come about?
So they reached out to me. They've been focusing on kind of middle or smaller tier kind of influencers and social media, I guess, presences, because the bigger names, it's very hit or miss. And we want this to be very like personal, and like you kind of are submitting to somebody that, there's a connection to them. So it's starting off, very early. I was kind of one of the first people, I think, that got started on the app, because like I said, they just launched in September. And so that they reached out to me, and I just thought it made sense with kind of the Avatar fandom and how people can maybe want to be involved and do more things Avatar related aside from just liking and commenting on things. So
we should always want to do more things Avatar related.
Yes, exactly.
Always.
Exactly.
So I know you mentioned before that like the only like interaction really with the videos and everything is clapping, so it's positive. Do you think that's what sets HypeSpace apart from the other social media platforms? And do you think that's a good thing?
I think, yes, I definitely think it's a good thing. And it does kind of make it different from the other platforms. I also think just the fact that there's only challenges, it's a very activity-based app. So I feel like that's kind of a nice thing, because there's so much consumption, from watching various streaming services to just, doom scrolling on various platforms.
So much TikTok doom scrolling.
Oh, yeah, just, and Reddit sub pages, and it just all goes crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, the nice thing is that it's all creativity based. So there's not really like a trend aspect. So it's not like you see the same dance 30 times in a row. You have to kind of come up with your own thing to submit to the challenge. And yeah, and then it's all, I don't know, there's more motion, I feel like, because then challenges end and then there's another one. And so there's always something to kind of be working on, I guess, in a fun way, as opposed to just kind of consuming a bunch of stuff that maybe other people have done. Kind of gets you out of your comfy seat a little bit, just to go participate in something. And maybe you get a friend or a sibling, or you have your parent do it with you or something, you know. Yeah, it's fun.
So would you say that it's definitely something that would be very like kid friendly?
Oh, very much so. So I mean, obviously you need like an adult with you if you are of a certain age. Like a 7-year-old couldn't be like, yeah, I'm going to submit to the challenge. That's part of the safety in place, just to make sure that nobody's getting into anything that maybe they shouldn't be. But I believe you need to be 13 or 15, somewhere in there, to like post on your own. But like,
Okay.
it's all very family and kid friendly. So like if a mom came across a challenge and wanted to do it with her kid, like you totally could. But yeah, I don't think they allow like a 6-year-old to just wander onto the app and then submit things. You still need a little bit of age
Yeah.
to submit things. But yes, very family friendly.
As a parent of a middle schooler, I think
there you go.
that would be something fun to look into.
Yeah, because the challenges have to be approved by the HypeSpace board before they're even posted. So somebody couldn't create a challenge that's inappropriate. If any submissions are like, you know, deemed, I don't know, violent or too sensual or anything that just kind of starts pushing the parameters, I think they take them down, or, you know, you're not allowed to submit. So it's kind of nice because it's a little bit parented. The app is a little more parented than the other, just kind of free, wild in it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of definitely a safe space for family stuff.
Well, as a parent, I think that is a very, very cool thing.
Yes, 100%.
So we can come back to more of HypeSpace a little bit later, but obviously I want to get into some voice acting talk.
Sure.
With you. So I know a good amount of your voice work credits are under your stage name.
Yes. Jessie Flower. Yes.
Jessie Flower. So did you come up with Jessie Flower yourself?
I did. Yes. 6-year-old me just really loved the name Jessica for a while, and people mispronounced my name all the time, which I had a different last name at the time from one of my mom's previous marriages, and she was only married once. That makes it sound like there's a long list, but she had the last name. So at the time it was Michaela Mayhair, and I got a lot of Michela Miagers and Michaela Meager, and I'm like, wow, this is not cute. I really don't love this. So
how do you mess up Michaela? It's very,
I don't know if it was as popular at the time. I feel like there are more Michaelas now. And at the time, the way I spell it is Michael with an A on the end. I don't have like Mikay. So maybe people just like didn't know. I don't know. Anyway.
Maybe it's just my former teacher brain. I got very good at at figuring out how to pronounce names.
There you go. So maybe you just have more experience. But yeah, I thought Jessie was like a really cool name. Like Jessica at the time was really cool. And I was like, let's just shorten it. And it can be even cooler as Jessie. And then my mom was like, well, you need a last name. And I was like, well, Jessie Mayhair is not, I mean, it sounds cool now in one sense, but back then I was like, no, that's weird. And so I just came up with Flower. And then I was like, I'll sign the I in my name with a flower and make a whole little bit out of it, which I did. And like all of my headshots, we put little stickers with like my agency and name and everything on them.
That's
and above
nice.
the I, there was a little flower. So there you go. We made it a little bit of a bit, but yeah, then when I turned 18, I was like, okay, time to go back to my birth name. Done with the stage name. It's cute when I was younger.
So obviously, Avatar: The Last Airbender, one of the best animated series of all time, in my opinion.
I think I think
many other people's opinions as well. So how did you end up getting cast in the show? Like was there a long audition process?
Yeah, it was actually, I don't, time is all a blur because I was like 11, 12 years old, but I actually voiced Meng in season 1 in the episode The Fortune Teller, when she had the crush on Aang and called Katara Floozy. So I voiced her.
Oh, okay,
first.
yeah.
Yeah. And then in that recording session, according to Giancarlo, one of the directors, apparently Mike and Brian kind of saw me, heard me, whatever. They were already thinking about making Toph a girl because originally she was supposed to be kind of like a bro. And they were like, wait, I think that's our Toph. And they called me back in to audition for Toph. I funnily enough was visiting my grandparents at the time the audition was due, so we had to drive. This was before iPhones and all that stuff, so we had to drive to some like music store that had a studio in the back and use their equipment, and they emailed it over, and it was like a whole thing. I didn't even realize it was for the same show, but yeah. Then I booked it, and when I went in, I was like, oh, I know the show.
Oh,
like,
hey guys.
Hey, what's up? So yeah.
How's it going?
It was very, very natural. It was I got the first audition through my agent who I had at the time. And it was just, one of the ones that happened to click. I auditioned for tons of things that I didn't get, and that was one of the things that I did get. And it just so happened that they were looking for Toph, and they liked me. So there you go.
Now, when you guys recorded, did you do like individual recording, or did you ever do like group recording?
Occasionally we did group recording, but a lot of times it was just me, probably because I had to deal with a school schedule. So like every Tuesday I would leave a period early and then go to do my recording, and then, go on with my day. So maybe other people came in kind of earlier in the day. Because I guess technically, yeah, I probably recorded later in the day for what people usually do. Because most of my sessions now start at like 9 or 10 or 11, and I was always starting at like 2:30 or 3. So everybody else was earlier. And occasionally they would have me with Jack, who voices Sokka, or with May, Katara. Occasionally I was with Gray, Azula. It just depended on scheduling, I think.
Now, do you still like keep in touch with like some of the cast? Do you guys ever like have like Avatar hangout sessions?
I do now. I didn't then. I was like, I didn't have a cell phone. Nobody had Facebook. Like, I didn't know how to keep in contact with people. And I didn't really focus on it because after Avatar, I kind of stopped acting for a long while because I thought I was going to do med school and be a doctor. So I kind of just stopped all the acting stuff. But yeah, so they thankfully, with it coming back onto Netflix, the last couple of years, I was able to then find everybody on Instagram and be like, hey, I'm Toph, and like blah, 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 blah. So now I'm more friendly. And I mean, most people, everybody's busy. So like sometimes we get to hang out. I think I'm going to hang out with a couple of them in 2 weeks. Yeah, because one of their husbands, Suki's husband, is having like a little concert. So we're going to try to like meet up and stuff. So there is some casual overlap, but yeah, I'm just glad that I finally have at least a bit of a connection to them, because before I was like no idea what they're doing and where they are and all that stuff. So yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I was very happy when Avatar came onto Netflix. It was a nice binge watch with my son during the early days of the Rona.
Yeah, it was a good rewatch for many of us. I feel like Dante, who voices Zuko, he had like a fundraising stream on Twitch where we just rewatched all the episodes and raised money and all that stuff. So
and he's just so cool, period.
I know, and he knows it. Or maybe he doesn't, but I mean it seems like it does. He's always been that way. It's so funny. Like when he would show up to the studio, he rides motorcycles, not exclusive.
Of course.
Sometimes he would show up, with his leather jacket on and his helmet, and he'd be like a couple minutes late or something, be like, oh, sorry I'm late or whatever. And I'm like, oh, come on. What are you doing to me?
Rufio.
I know, right?
So obviously you mentioned that Toph was previously envisioned as like a male character, but they changed her to female, which I think was for the better, because there are not a whole lot of female characters like Toph.
No, not at all.
So do you think that there's been progress made not like in terms of like characters similar to her, like not just in animation, but like overall in like in media?
Oh yeah. I mean, so much has changed since, 2006, 2007. But yeah, it's been, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of crazy looking back at it because like I feel like so many things have progressed, but then you kind of put a lens back to 2006 and realize kind of how different she is and how different the show is, but in comparison to like everything else that's going on. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of cool just to recognize that as an adult because when you're a kid, it doesn't like register the same way. But kind of looking back at it now, it's like, well, yeah, just really cool to be kind of a earlier kind of female badass character. But I mean, yeah, media has made leaps and bounds in kind of progressive direction as far as female-led films and showrunners and producers and all sorts of things like that. So I'm glad that it's going in that direction. There's always room for more. I mean, I'm working on a script right now. I'm hoping that maybe I can sell it and maybe like be a character, this character over here kind of deal. But yeah, I feel like
I did this thing. I think I could go for this thing.
Exactly. I mean, who knows if that'll happen or not, but that's the dream. But yeah, it's much more I guess normalized to kind of be entering into spaces as I guess a female identifying person. Yeah, I don't know. I never really, which this is probably to my mom to thank because I didn't watch too much TV or consume too much media because we couldn't really afford it. But I never felt like, oh, I can't do that because I'm just a girl, or like, oh, there are all these men in a room. How uncomfortable. Like I'm the only girl. I never felt like any of that, which maybe, contributed to some of how I voiced Toph, but I never was like, oh, I'm the minority, or, oh, I wish there were more women or whatever. I just like never even blinders on, I want to do that. And so I would just go do it. So I'm glad that there are more, I guess, people who, I guess, reflect that and are encouraging that. So yeah, but I mean, gosh, 2022, we've made so much progress from 2006.
Oh, yeah. It could still make some more, but we're definitely trending.
Yeah, we're working on it. We're
trending in the right direction, I think.
Yep.
So now, obviously, in the spin-off of Avatar: Legend of Korra, Toph came back, much older. Were you happy with where they took Toph in that series? Did you like give any like input in that in any way, or was that all like
Mike and Brian are the sole creators and masterminds of all Avatar-verse things? No, I didn't have any say, and people also ask like if you ever ad-libbed any of the lines or helped write any of the lines, and no, we never did any of that. But I do like where she went. I think some people are like, it doesn't make sense. She hates rules and then she becomes a police officer. And I'm like, well, no, that kind of makes sense because she doesn't want to be under anybody else's control. So then she just has to become the one who's in control. So that makes sense to me. But yeah, I like what she did. And I came back as actually my own daughter in like a little flashback scene, young Su Yin, whenever the backstory of Lin getting her scar and all that stuff. So that was kind of fun to play my own daughter for a second in the show. But yeah, it was a great continuation. I feel like people try to compare the two series so much and they're just so different. I went into Korra just
they are very different.
Yeah, kind of forgetting Avatar as best I could in one sense. I really loved the Spirit World backstory stuff when they went into
the Spirit World stuff was cool.
It's so pretty. But yeah, so I just kind of watched it as its own show, and then I was able to appreciate it for all of its kind of different, lovely things. But yeah, you can't really compare the two.
Yeah, and I also just love like the evolution of bending in it. Like obviously Toph created metal bending, and then we see it in like its full effect in Korra. I thought that was very cool.
Yeah. I love the sub bendings, and there's lava bending, and then like obviously sand bending is kind of introduced in the original, but there's all these like little intermediary styles that start to form. It's very cool.
Now, would you want to be an earthbender like Toph, or is there another type of bending that you would prefer?
I probably, it's funny I just mentioned this, but I'm probably a mix of earth and fire. I'm probably kind of like a lava. Which I know That's cheating because you kind of need to pick one element and then you can.
Hey, you were on the show. You make your own rules.
But yeah, I'm probably like a lava bender, because I'm definitely a mix of earth and fire in real life. I'm definitely not air, and I don't think I'm water either. I'm not those easy go with the flow people. That's not really where I live. So yeah, definitely earthy and stubborn and a little hot-headed. Yeah, that's so lava.
Nice. So I know you briefly mentioned that you were working on a script.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you can say about that, or any like other like upcoming projects you could like hint at being involved with?
I just finished up a video game, so that'll hopefully be coming out in the spring. I was a main character in it, so it was a lot of fun because that was my first kind of big voiceover gig since Avatar, where I came back for multiple sessions in the booth. So that was really cool. Yeah, that's all I can really give you, which was very boring, I know. But
hey, that's something.
And then and then the script, it's like a historical fiction kind of thing, which sounds boring, but it's like, how Queen's Gambit is technically fiction, but set in like the 60s, and it's very much about like the 60s era. So yeah, mine is kind of like that, but in, based somewhere else in kind of the early 1900s. So just building story, and I'm still very much in kind of an outline. I have the idea, but I haven't started it on the dialogue yet. So hopefully I'm going to be finished with that by the end of December. We'll see.
Very cool. Very cool. So I hold on. I was going to go somewhere and then I just switched. Since we're in like the Halloween season, and I would argue that the bloodbending episode could easily be Halloween viewing.
Yes.
Do you have any favorite Halloween watches that you do annually?
I'm not very consistent as far as like one that I always watch every year or anything like that. But I do love Insidious and Sinister. Those are like my top kind of two fave. I guess they're a little bit older now, but horror movies. I think I need to watch the Hocus Pocus 2 just to say that I've seen it.
I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed it. It was
okay. Well, that's good
because I love the original.
I mean, yeah,
it's one of my all-time favorite Halloween movies. So I was like, it was delightful.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of a mix between the kind of fun, kid friendly, family friendly, kind of spooky ones, and then like real thriller. I don't really like the jump scares or like the themed ones. Like I'm totally blanking, but like the Chucky doll one or like the Saw movies. That I just am like, it's a bit, and I can feel the bit. I need to be like organically taken along, a thriller storyline for me to be like, I was not expecting that. That was well written. I guess it's also because I focused on a lot of writing. So if it's like a scary movie and I'm like, I know exactly what's happening, then it takes all the excitement out of it for me. But yeah, I do appreciate a good thriller for sure.
Very cool. Very cool. I would definitely do Hocus Pocus, Halloween Town.
Yep.
Over the Garden Wall.
Don't know that one.
Oh, you gotta watch Over the Garden Wall.
Over the Garden Wall. Okay.
Over the Garden Wall. It has like one of the coolest voice casts, like Elijah Wood, Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Last I knew, it was on HBO Max, and it's like 10 episodes, like all together. They're like an hour.
Oh, I see. It's a limited series.
Yeah.
Aha. Okay.
but like all together, it's like a mini movie.
I have to split that up between 3 days. That's so funny. That's cool though. I have not heard of that one before. I'll have to check it out.
It is quite good. And I also was just wondering, like, what are some other like movies and TV shows that are a favorite of yours, like things from this year or like the last couple years?
Gosh, there's so many. I really, what's something that I rewatch a lot of? I've been going through a lot of series that I've been lacking, on lagging. I didn't see Westworld. I haven't seen like Ozark. I actually haven't seen Game of Thrones. Woo! Who is she? I know. It got too deep, and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like too much time has passed. I feel like I can't start now. It's too much. It's too much. Anyway, so I've been like slowly going through a lot of series like that, or watching like, the Great British Baking Show or whatever is like just background music. But movie wise, I love Disney stuff. I love Tangled. Tangled's one of my favorite Disney movies. I love Easy A, like old Emma Stone, and alongside some old Emma Stone. Crazy Stupid Love. Crazy Stupid Love is like my favorite rom-com.
That movie, like that was such a good rom-com. Like
so good.
and I had no idea about the twist.
I know. See, it's the twist. You don't see it coming, and you're like,
they did that so well in the trailers and the marketing.
Oh well.
It was so
very
good.
Smart. I appreciate it when things are smart. And then like 500 Days of Summer is also like it. I don't know. I feel like I'm Devil Wears Prada. I'm like stuck in like 2010. But I just like really appreciated those movies. So I feel like I rewatched those a lot. I saw the Don't Worry Darling, Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde, whatever movie recently. And that was well done. That was another one where I didn't really see what was happening until the end, which was very cool. Interesting concept. It's funny because a lot of our movies and television have turned dystopian, whereas before they were utopian. Like if you look at,
I wonder why.
Yeah, but it's kind of a theme that it's not necessarily getting old, because it's educational in one sense, and it makes us be like, hey, let's like not do this. But it is kind of a bummer, because I feel like a lot of movies before I'd leave being like, yeah, and now I'm like, crap. So like, yeah, maybe that's why I don't like a lot of the more recent movies. But yeah, I'm definitely behind. I don't think I've watched the last 2 Spider-Mans. So another.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, I just don't watch a lot of new stuff. Maybe I should be better at, but I don't know. It's like, if it doesn't sound appealing to me, then I won't necessarily go to see it. But I should probably force myself to just go watch anyway, especially if I want to be in writing and film and TV. But anyway.
So have you kept up with like any of like the Marvel shows on Disney Plus or?
Nope. No? Nope. I've occasionally watched Friends reruns or The Office.
Can't go wrong with Friends reruns.
Yeah,
my wife and I, we went through that for a while.
Yeah, it's fun. And then I just rewatch Disney movies as well. But yeah, I don't watch a lot of new stuff, and I say I'm going to, and then I don't.
So since you brought up Disney, what would you say your top 5 Disney movies are?
Tangled, we know that one for sure. Tangled, Mulan, Beauty and the Beast. Those were easy. And then I guess, yeah, How to Train Your Dragon. Love that. Everything about that. And then I know it's like a little bit cheaty because it's not fully Disney, but I like it nonetheless. And then I don't know.
we can expand it to animated if
no. I guess Frozen can be fit. Yeah, I guess Frozen can be fit.
Because How to Train Your Dragon is awesome.
Yes, yeah, it is great. Those are probably my 5 with the cheat one of How to Train Your Dragon in there.
No, it's not cheat. We expanded it to animated altogether.
Yeah, it's fine.
All together, animated. Disney, DreamWorks, we got everybody.
There you go. They're all together. So yeah, those are my 5.
Okay, so then if we're gonna expand, I would say Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Prince of Egypt.
That is a good one. I forget about Prince of Egypt, but it is such a good movie. I used to rewatch that one on VHS all the time.
Oh yeah.
So many rewatches. Yeah.
Yeah, I started doing that like as like a yearly watch, like around like Easter, Passover time in the spring.
That makes sense.
And for number 5, I would say I'm gonna go recent. I'm gonna go Zootopia.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah,
We
that's
go
another
Zootopia.
one. Mm-hmm. I did see that one. That's a good one. I like the little bunny.
Plus, you put Jason Bateman in a movie, it's gonna
be good.
Odds are it's gonna be good. So I think that is just about everything I have, and I think our time is almost up. So it has been wonderful talking to you. I am a big fan, big Avatar fan. It was fun getting to watch that with my son for the first time.
Oh, that's really cool.
During
the family rewatches are a lot of fun. Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. And yeah, for anybody interested in HypeSpace, you can download it from the App Store or Google Play. It's free to download, free to upload videos and submit to challenges. And my username on there is @Michaela. It's the same one as on my Instagram. Yeah, and so if you want to follow along and submit to challenges, come join in the fun.
Everyone should definitely do that. I will probably check that out myself.
Cool.
And it has been very nice talking with you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Have a good one and have a happy Halloween.
You too. Have a happy Halloween as well. Check out Over the Garden Wall.